Welcome to the Mile High Podcast. We're your guides through sordid tales of movies, music, and pop culture. Our show is best experienced under the influence of cannabis, so now is your cue to light up. Now remember, drugs are dangerous. Please use responsibly, but do subscribe. And now your hosts, James Thomas and David Hawk.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, March 19th, and I am your host, Dave, and this is the Mile High Podcast. And with me tonight, it's a very intimate setting. It's just me and my good buddy from the north, Mr. Mike Santore. How the hell are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Yeah, this is kind of weird. Usually,
there's others.
We have like 4 people, 5 people. We're always talking over each other, but this is a very intimate episode. It's me and Santore. This is part 2 of our favorite concerts series. Last week we had singer-songwriter Amanda Hawkins on. We had Christy from the Potter Girls podcast. And we were talking about our favorite concerts, and that was more geared towards some of the lighter concerts and a little bit more poppy, a little bit more not as dark as me and Santore like to go. And me and Santore, man, we're metal guys. And so metal concerts are just a completely different experience. And so I thought we needed to dedicate a whole episode just to the metal concerts. And so Santore, my buddy, I'm going to tell a story about Santore real quick before I hand it over to him. So Santore and we had never met. We only met like a couple years ago, right? So There's this bar down the street from where I used to live and James used to live in DW. It's this place, like this dive bar called Pitchers. And one night I got invited to have beers because Mike Santore was in town. I'm like, I've never met this guy, but they're like, I'd like to go hang out with my friends and drink some beers. And within like 2 minutes of stepping in, I was like, this motherfucker looks just like Maynard from Tool. And I like, hey, dude, like you look like Maynard from Tool. And then we became best friends. We talked fucking Tool shows, Perfect Circle shows, metal shows for like 2 hours. And we went and we became best friends and brothers ever since then. And so
Absolutely.
Me and Santore, we're like the metal guys of our group. So this is show me your shirt. I want to show your fucking shirt. Fucking Slayer. Yeah, right. We've seen so many metal shows. We've really bonded over that. So right. Without further ado, Mike Santore, how the hell are you and what are you up to?
I'm good. I'm up to absolutely nothing. Just, chilling, living day by day. Just taking it easy.
Just taking it easy?
Just taking it easy, not traveling as much as we were a couple months ago. So we're recuperating and then trying to figure out what's the next move. And we're probably going to figure that out in the next couple of weeks. So we'll keep everyone posted, let everyone know what we're up to. But as of right now, we're just taking it easy and, relaxing.
Nice.
Considering the fact that I just came back from Texas on Monday morning. We drove like 17 hours straight all night long until the morning. So,
dude, Texas, man. Oh,
yeah.
That's a grind, bro. That's a grind.
It is. It was a nice visit though. I had a good time.
Right on. What?
Yeah.
How was your Texas visit? Because I know Texas like rolled back all their regulations. How'd that
Yes,
go?
they did. It went all right. I mean, we were staying with our friends and they're good people and everything. And we went out Friday night and then Wednesday they took away, they mandated everything to be like, no mask mandation. So of course we went on Friday night. We played pool and we're in a smoky bar and there was all kinds of people. Not, no one was wearing a mask. So, we blended in. I was real nervous about that. As a matter of fact, the next day, number one dick, Mary Beth, she didn't feel good. So we actually went to urgent care. She got rapid COVID negative. And it just turns out to be a virus, but I don't think I had anything to do with the bar or anything per se, but it was definitely weird, definitely like premature in my eyes. And then, so I kept the mask going everywhere else I went. And it was funny because every time you wear a mask, you get dirty looks. People look at you like you're stupid. And it's just like,
That's weird.
I just don't want to be that person, just in case that I might come across that and I turn out to get some person sick. I don't want to be that person. So I wear it out of respect, and I mean, I'm not really much worried about myself, but I'm just worried about others.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's good. And that's one thing I love about you, Santore. Like, you're a very selfless individual. Like, you're always willing to help out anybody.
Right.
And like, you can see every time I say that, like, the chat always blows up because everybody agrees. Like, you're one genuine dude, and you're like genuinely a good guy, and you're always willing to help out. So Rob Roberts wants me to say that you are quite the pool player. So tell me about this. So are you a fucking shark?
No. Actually, Robert and I, we were in a league for like a couple of years, and the league is like, if you and your team like proceed to do really well and you beat the other teams, you get a chance to go to Vegas. And good memory of me. We were down to this last team, and it happened to be me, and I was playing against the other person, and this is for the Vegas. This was for all the money, and I fucked up. I choked, and I didn't make the 9-ball in. It went the other way, and I lost. And I ever since then always felt guilty and bad because Robert had never been to Vegas, and I always thought, I want to get you to Vegas, and I let him down. But hopefully he'll go to Vegas another time, another chance. But yeah, that. We played in the league for 2 years, and I was good for a couple of years. I'm rusty, but I can play pool, but I'm not no shark. I'm not no Fast Eddie or Minnesota Fast by all means. I mean, I enjoy it. Bowling and pool, I'm just really good at those games. And if I ever get back into golf, I enjoy that too. But I don't see me playing golf anytime soon. But if I do, I usually try to do really good. But anyway. Yeah, pool. I love it.
I'm pretty good at putt. I don't golf. I'm okay at bowling. I'm one of those dudes that like gets like the 8-pound ball and throws it as fucking hard as it can down the alley and try to blow out the pins as hard as possible.
Right,
for a fat dude, I have remarkably thin fingers, and so I can stick my fingers in the smallest of holes. And so like I will get the light balls, and I would just fucking rocket it down the alley. I do pretty well that way. But golf, I'm not a golfer. I play a lot of Golden Tee,
the machine.
I'm pretty good with that. Right. Putt I'm pretty good with. I was a pretty good athlete when I was growing up, man. Yeah. I was a hell of a baseball player, hell of a football player, but I was also not gifted with. I was a short, fat kid who was very gifted talent, like athletically. And so I got overlooked a lot for shit because like this fat kid can't really hit, and then I can fucking hit like, no one's business. We played a lot of street football in my day, and I was a good fucking quarterback. So, right. I'm just here hanging out in Denver. I was working at Starbucks. It's busy. It's getting busy. We just got done with a fucking huge ass blizzard earlier this week.
Yeah, how was that?
It snowed. Man, it's fucked everything up. I mean, it wasn't like we weren't like Texas, where Texas just like came to a grinding halt. But a couple of days, we paused for a little bit, and but it's been like 60 degrees the last 2 days, so all that snow was melting.
I moved to Colorado in 2003, and I was there for March 17th blizzard.
Oh man!
And the day I showed up, they shut down the town for 2 days. Did they shut down the town at all this time?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Like Starbucks never closes, and they closed me for 2 days. So, that's how you know. I'm sure Waffle House was still open because Waffle House is always open, but Starbucks is closed.
Right. Yes.
So let me ask you this question, because you were here for this big ass blizzard. You come to the town, you blow in, there's a big fucking blizzard, and then you come in a year ago at the same time, and fucking Colorado gets shut down to COVID. Do you think there's any correlation between you?
Yeah, a little coincidental, little connection.
Yeah, I'm seeing the connection here.
That was a running joke too, because last time I came here, I shut down the whole town, and this time I came here, I shut down the whole world. Colorado doesn't want me to live there. Apparently, I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, it was pretty funny because we did talk about that. Me, D-W. I'm like, you know, right, last time I was here, I shut down the whole town. This year, I shut down the whole world. And he's like, I knew it was a bad idea to have you come. He's like, you're banned. Never let you here ever again. So now for me to come back, I have to get a petition, according to D-Dub, of natives, not people that have lived there, but originally are from Colorado, to say it's okay for Mike Santore to move back. So,
well, I'm on the Council of Natives, and I will vote in your direction.
Well, thank you. Let him know
I will
that.
vote you back in. I will
Good.
repeal your ban. But if anything, if I get sick or if anything happens to me because you've moved into state, then I will uphold this ban forever. You're never allowed me in.
Then we'll have like, ill clause or something like that, just in case, that if you do sign it, then there'll be like a little back trace just in case if you do get sick. Then
exactly, it's a clause.
Your vote doesn't count anymore, or it's excusable if you get sick. So I hope you don't, but we'll see.
All right, man. So Mile High Podcast, we are a weed show, and Minnesota is a weed-friendly state. So
no.
What are you smoking tonight, my friend?
Well, Minnesota is not a weed-friendly state. We're not legal. I'm doing this all illegally.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
What I meant was, Mike Santore is in a very weed-legal state, which is not Minnesota.
Right. Exactly, as far as you know. But basically, I got my weed from a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy that saw a guy that might have something. So that's what I got.
All right. And here in the friendly confines of Aurora, Colorado, where I have a weed store literally a quarter mile away, I could walk to my weed store. I am smoking White 99 from my friends over at Lightshade, which is right down the street. So we love our friends over at Lightshade. What are you watching, man? I know you.
What am I watching?
What are you watching?
Well, I just got done watching the first season, only season of Freaks and Geeks. I don't know if you ever watched that show. Yeah, I've never watched it. My friend, he turned me on to it. He's like, Hulu's got it back on. You should check it out. So I finished doing that. Been watching a lot of Office reruns for some reason. Comedy Central loves to display that. Watched the South Park vaccine. I thought that was great. I think that was a lot better than the pandemic episode. So I'm just pretty much sticking to the regular basic cable stuff that people throwing at me. I do want to check out a couple movies like One Night in Miami. I'm looking into that movie. I want to check that out. I think that's going to be good. But yeah, what about you? What are you watching these days?
Oh man, I watch so much shit, Santore. So
yeah.
So I right before the show, like an hour before the show, I finished Falcon and Winter Soldier, the first episode, which was great. I mean, if you watch any of the WandaVision, it started off very slow and then it finally ramped up. Man, right. I mean, for Falcon and Winter Soldier, it was like right off the bat, boom, just action is crazy. Like you've never seen action like this on a TV show, even a streaming show. You haven't seen action like this. So right. Really great start to that season. I watched a couple movies this week. First one is one that I had never heard of until it got nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. It's a movie called Promising Young Woman. And it's so hard for me to even describe what this movie is. It's a very different kind of movie, but it's a very poignant, very timely kind of story about like survivors of sexual assault. And so it's a very serious movie, but also some funny parts in it. I highly recommend that. Fucking an ending that you will not forget anytime soon. It was one of the most unexpected endings that I have ever seen in a movie in a very long time, but it was a great movie. I definitely recommend that. And then literally 15 minutes before I came out here. So I've been watching this over the course of the last 3 days. I finally finished the Snyder cut of Justice League, the 4-hour and 2-minute Justice League. And I didn't hate the first one, but this one is much better. It's about 2 hours too long. They could have very much condensed it. And the ending sets it up for a movie that will never happen. Like the big Justice League 2, like you can see that it ends setting up for another Justice League movie that will never come. That whole team has been pretty much broken up. Like Batfleck is gone, which I enjoyed Ben Affleck as a Batman. Henry Cavill's gone as Superman. So it's basically like the team's broken up. And like the whole movie is like Bruce Wayne brought everybody together. And then they're like, well, they can't do that again because Bruce Wayne's not even part of the DC universe. And so neither is Superman. So, but that's definitely a good one. That's on HBO Max. It just came out. It's free. Definitely recommend that. But really what I've been watching, I always give homework when I do these shows. I always give homework to folks. And this week I told Santore, man, like, just go on YouTube and just watch a heavy metal video or a concert and just kind of get back in that frame of mind. And I've been watching a shitload of concerts of bands that I've seen before, like a lot of them that I've pretty much everybody that I watch on YouTube has been bands that I've seen before. But I've been watching a lot of concerts this week. So tell me some of the concerts that you've been watching.
Well, I doing a lot of like, there's some like rock stars that when they do pass away, it hits you pretty hard, and then there are some that don't. Like Kurt Cobain died, a lot of people got hurt and wrecked by that. It did affect me a little, but not as much as Eddie Van Halen, him passing. So I've been going back watching a lot of old school Eddie Van Halen, like Dave Lee Roth stuff, like especially time like now, because Van Halen music is just like so like energetic, and I think that's what, for me, the way things are in this world, I just need a little energy, a little bit positive, and just, some good hardcore rock and roll guitar solo. And that would be, Eddie. I've also been going back and looking at 1980 Pink Floyd at Earl's Court doing The Wall. I watched that a lot. And then I've been watching live Tool, especially in Colorado, 2019, November of 2019. I think they were in Colorado. Oh no, it was 2020, February 2020, Colorado. Don't know exactly what arena they were at, but I've been watching that. And
you've seen Tool before, right? Like,
yeah,
you've seen Tool live.
Yeah, I've seen Tool live. Yeah.
How was it? Tell me your experience with Tool, because I think
Tool,
you and I have very different experiences with Tool. Even though you look just like Maynard, I'm sure you got like stopped by a bunch of people like, "What the fuck are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be singing here soon?"
Right? No one bothered me at the show, but I've had people in the past just like, "Oh, hey, you look like Maynard." I'm like, "Hey, thanks." My show, it was 2012, which was actually pretty cool. It was February 2012, and it was in Florida. And me and my boys went, and it was good. I mean, we were, we were kind of upper bowl, but it didn't matter because you could see everything, the stage and the lights, just the whole show with the background drop and everything, just the way that it is. And it was a good show. It was great. Music was great. The visuals were great. And then about in March, it was kind of funny because I think he was in between doing both bands. But anyway, I got to see Pucifer the same year. And that was more intimate. It was a small venue. He like as soon as you walk in, they're already like trying to, warn you about do not film, do not use your phone to film. It's, Maynard's wishes, whatever. And then you understand why, because just the stage was very small, and there was like a little RV, and then you had the band, and you had him, and you had the girl, and then you had like a little campfire. So it was like really cool. And plus you're like listening to music that they're playing. Pucifer described for me as like desert music, and that's the kind of like sound it portrayed. It was a great show. But yeah, Tool was great. And then always a pleasure to see Adam Jones on the guitar. I think he's an underrated guitar player. And but yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah, so I saw Tool down in Colorado Springs, and this is, I want to say like 2010, 2011. Like I had never seen it. I was fucking jacked to go see Tool, and my favorite song. And this sounds like such a poser, of course.
Let's hear.
But my favorite fucking Tool song is Sober. Right. That's right. How that was my entrance into the world as Tool. That I still fucking listen to Tool to this very day. I listen to Perfect Circle. I listen to Pucifer, but all because of Sober. And first of all, if you've never seen a Maynard show, let alone a Tool show, I've seen Tool in a Perfect Circle and in a Perfect Circle and Tool. But he's a weird fucking dude. Like when he performs, I have some crazy stories about Maynard. But Tool starts saying, like they start playing, and Maynard's singing. but you don't fucking see him at all. Like he is nowhere to be found on this stage until like in the second or third song, the stage goes to blacklight, and there's this weird fucking dude like doing like these crazy fucking motions in the back, like behind the drummer, and that was fucking Maynard. And then the lights turn off, and then you don't see him again. And it was the weirdest fucking show. But they didn't play sober. I was so fucking bummed. We paid. The show was sold out, so we bought scalp tickets. And all I want to do was hear sober, and the show was great. We saw Meshuggah, who is a band that I've known for a really long time that people all of a sudden just discovered.
Right.
But they didn't play sober. I was so fucking bummed, and I was like the show was great, the music was great, but the only downside was they didn't play sober. Man, so I was saying like Maynard does weird shit when he is on stage. Like he doesn't like to be up front.
Do you know why? And I a friend of mine told me why. He actually read into this. The reason why Maynard stands next to the drums is because he couldn't hear himself out in front. So when he's next to the drums, he can hear everything, which is a perfect idea for, loud rock bands that lead singer should be by the drums. That's why he's not in front. It just has something to do with hearing and this sound. That's why he does, and not to be a weirdo, which I always thought he was.
Well, he also doesn't want to. He wants the art to. He doesn't want to be in front of the art. He wants to be a part of the art. So, when I saw him with the Perfect Circle, I saw him as a Perfect Circle twice. One, he was headlining up at Red Rocks, which was a great fucking show. And he sang behind a tree the whole time, like up in front of the stage. They had a tree, and he sang behind the tree. So, and then, so one of my favorite concerts, I'd say like one of my top 5 favorite concerts of all time was A Perfect Circle and 9 Inch Nails. And first of all, we took DW. That was his first metal show. And you'll see in my stories, I like to bring people in to metal shows. Like, hey, like James has never been to a metal show, so I'm like, you got to come to a metal show. So I convinced DW to go to this 9 Inch Nails Perfect Circle, and he didn't know what the fuck to expect, man. 9 Inch Nails starts playing, and he gets plinked on the top of the head with a boot from some fucking knucklehead that was crowd surfing. So he's like, I'm never coming to a metal show again. But Maynard, Perfect Circle opened for 9 Inch Nails, and fucking Maynard was singing behind this like long fucking hair. I told the story last week, so if you guys are watching both episodes, you're gonna have to suffer through this story again. But Maynard singing like fucking long ass hair, and he was singing the whole time underneath his hair. And then the very last song was Judith, which is a great fucking song. And there's this part at the end where he just like hits this long, minute-long note, and he hits this song, and he leans back and he rips his fucking wig off, and the motherfucker was bald the whole time. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I mean, like, that's the crazy shit I have ever seen in that concert. I mean, like, Maynard is just a weird fucking. He's a genius. Used to be a stand-up comedian, Santore. May you?
I did not know that.
Relate. Yeah,
really. He was. I could see him being funny.
Yeah,
I could see that.
You know what? I've never seen the two of you guys in a room together. I'm still not convinced that you're not actually Maynard himself.
Well,
So, what was your first concert?
My very first concert was 1988, Monsters of Rock, Kingdom Come, Metallica, Dokken, Scorpions, Van Halen. Yeah. Am I missing anyone? No. Yeah.
So you saw Eddie. You saw Eddie live.
I saw Eddie for the very first time, yes. And then I saw him again in 2017. Was it 17? No, 2014. When Van Halen was touring with David Lee Roth. I seen him in that Amway Center in Florida, Orlando. Nice. And so I was happy to see him in 86, 88 when he was with Sammy, and then again with David. So, I was like, okay, because that was also like always want to see him with David. I mean, it was cool I got to see him with Sammy, but I never thought, between 86 and 2014 that they would reunite, but they did, and that was good, and I got to see that. So,
tell me some of these other guitarists that you've seen. We were talking before the show, and you've seen a bunch of great guitarists. So tell me some of them.
I seen Tom Morello. He was, him and Rage Against the Machine Helmet, 1992 New Year's Eve. It was turned actually 91 and 92 New Year's Eve. And
Tom Morello's an incredible guitarist.
He is.
And he's so versatile. Like, you saw him with Rage. I've seen him with Rage and with this other band called Street Sweeper Social Club, which is a rapper, and then the Rage Against the Machine band behind. And then they also, fucking killed it with Audioslave. I mean, Tom Morello, and he's rarely put up there in the same categories as Eddie Van Halen or some of Stevie Ray Vaughan, but he is quite fucking talented as a guitarist. You should see him live. It's amazing.
Yeah. I've seen Dimebag Darrell.
Dimebag
Darrell? Dimebag Darrell. Yeah, I've seen Dimebag. Seen him 3 times, I want to say. Like 90, 92, 94, and 95. And one of the Ozfest. It was one of the Ozfest.
I was just gonna say that. Like, the first time,
the last time I saw him was at Ozfest.
Well, the first time I saw him was at Ozfest. Like, I seen him about as many times as you have. But when I was graduating, my girlfriend at the time, her mom bought me tickets to go see Ozfest, the first Ozfest. Yeah. And this had Marilyn Manson. This had Power Man 5000, Fear Factory. It had also Pantera, and like, maybe a week before the show, I fucking lost this ticket, man. So I was panicked. And my parents were nice enough to like buy me a replacement or something like that. But I finally was able to go to this concert. And the first time I saw Pantera, and they had the biggest pit I've ever seen in my life. And still to this day, the biggest mosh pit I've ever seen in my life. But the thing that stood out most about this show, and I've told this story a million times, but Marilyn Manson had a big fucking cross made out of beer bottles behind him, and he's singing Sweet Dreams, and he's like, he hits this one note, and he fucking picks up his mic stand and then chucks it at this fucking cross made of beer bottles, and it just shatters into a million fucking pieces. And he just, sure as shit, man, he just picks up the fucking neck of a broken beer bottle, man, and just goes fucking from like his chest to his stomach, just like, and like instant, and like, it went again. It's like, I'm an 18-year-old kid. I've never seen this shit before. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, it was some crazy shit. And this is like right after Pantera just fucking blew the top off this place. I mean, the first Ozfest was incredible.
Yeah.
Do you like going to these festivals, or do you like the more intimate kind of shows?
No, I like the festivals. I like I miss the festivals, actually. I never had a chance to go on a 3-day festival. That's one of my bucket lists. If they ever bring concerts back and festivals, I would love to sign my name up on a 3-day festival. It's always something I wanted to do. But yeah, the first time I seen Pantera was in '92, and that was with White Zombie and Pantera, and they opened up for Megadeth. It was Megadeth. It was White Zombie, Pantera, and Metallica. And that was right before Rob Zombie. This is like the Thunderkiss 65 album that came out. So they opened up, and then there was Pantera, and then there was Megadeth. I left during Megadeth.
Yeah. This is why I love Santore, man, because we are fucking totally cut from the same cloth. I saw it was Rob Zombie and Pantera playing up at Red Rocks. It was like the Monsters of Metal or something like that. And I went up there with a couple of my friends, a dude named Joel, dude named Mike. We were just like sitting up there. It was like an all-day kind of concert. We got up there early, and there was this like old couple like sitting in front of us, and they had this big fucking cooler, and they kept like pulling out this Ziploc bags of fruit, and they just like kept eating them. And then like, would you like to have some? And we're like 18, 19 years old, and we're like, yes, strangers, we would definitely like to eat your fruit from this bag that you got out of this cooler. And so we're fucking eating it, and we're like getting pretty fucking hammered because it was soaked in like vodka or something like that. And we're just like sitting here just kind of dazed and fucked up. And this dude just comes up and starts talking to these guys up there. And then I look up, I'm like, that's Vinnie Paul. That's fucking Vinnie Paul from Pantera, one of the best drummers of all fucking time. He's just like standing right in front of me. I'm too fucking drunk. I'm not saying anything to this guy. I'm just like staring at him. I'm sure he looked at me like, this guy is very weird right now because he's just staring at me. But it's like, that was my interaction with Vinnie Paul there. My brush with greatness.
Well, no, I used to work at a strip club in Orlando called Rachel's. And this was like 2005. It was like a year after Dimebag died. And I heard rumors that they used to come in all the time. Like my co-workers, my other employees that I worked in, Rachel said, yeah, Vinnie Paul comes in here all the time. Well, he finally came in one of the days I was working, and he got sat down, and my friend introduced me to him and said, hey, this is, Santore, this is Vinnie Paul. And I said, oh, the Cowboys from Hell are here. I said, hey, very nice to meet you. I said, my condolences to your brother. And that was it. But yeah, I shook Vinny's hand and I got to do that.
Yeah.
But,
what a tragic story for those two. They were so talented, and then they both died so fucking young.
Yeah, no, it just when I heard that about Diamond, I'm like, oh my God, who the fuck would do that? Who's, like, and the whole reason I heard was because the band was broken up, Pantera was broken up. Well, you know what? You just ruined every chance for them to ever have a reunion. You dumbass.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's tragic. It doesn't.
It is tragic. And it's very much like Joy Division with Ian Curtis. And same with Kurt Cobain. It's like there's so much genius that's just like taken out of the world. And what we are definitely not in a better place because they've gone like, they could have done something great. Look at what New Order did without him. Like he could have elevated. Look at Kurt Cobain. Like look at fucking Foo Fighters.
Yeah, Foo Fighters, man.
I mean, like,
Dave, man, yeah.
So it's unfortunate. Rob Roberts wants to point out that that's where he met you, Mike, was at Rachel's the strip club. You guys worked together.
Yes, that's right. That's right. He was a chef.
Nice. Chef Rob Roberts of Rachel's strip club fame.
That's right. That's where we met.
So tell me, what makes a metal show unique? And give me some popular misconceptions of a metal show.
Well, those are good questions. For me, what makes a metal show unique is pretty much the atmosphere, the people, and the music. I mean, like you got like for example, like Slayer. When people go to see Slayer, it's going to be like nothing but energy and just full out, just running around fun. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be like in your face, and you might get punched in the face a couple times, but where you're getting stuff into. So you get yourself pumped up for just the music. It's really what it is. It makes it unique. It depends on the band, and like with Tool, and like comparing to Tool and Slayer. So with Tool, they have the visuals, and that goes along with the music. So you're preparing yourself for that. And I think this is basically just what the band provides to make it unique is on the band. But to make it like your other question one more time.
What are some popular misconceptions?
I don't know, like probably like the bands that you're going to go see that you think are metal but are not really considered as metal, maybe hardcore metal. Like if you take a Cannibal Corpse person and you show them, another name for metal, probably take Cannibal Corpse and then combine it with like, we could, but let's say with Poison, you really don't put those two guys together because they just don't go hand in hand. But you take Cannibal Corpse, put some with Slayer, then yeah, you take Motley Crue and you take Poison together, that works. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what metal is metal, because that's considered, hair rock, glam rock, whatever. But metal is like more like, Slayer, Pantera, Metallica, that's metal. Ozzy's metal. He's Godfather metal, actually. Him and Ronnie James Dio. But yeah, I hope I answered your question. I hope I answered it well.
Pretty much, yeah. And I wanted to welcome in a friendly face to the Mile High podcast, James. Hello, James.
What's up, Dave? What's up, Santore?
What up, James?
So I invited James on. Like I said, I always like to invite people to their first metal shows. And one of the things that I enjoyed about bringing James to this metal show was like he was a blank slate. So he had no preconceived notions really going in. So I brought him on because I was kind of wanted to see what his perceptions of. Like, I'm very fond of heavy metal shows, and so I'm automatically biased. So I just wanted to get like someone's opinion from somebody who hasn't really been involved in that kind of atmosphere. So, James, I want to ask you.
I
First
thought
of
it was
all, how the
me,
hell are
man.
you?
I'm good,
How are
man.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for having me on. No, fucking a metal show is weird. You know, it was different. Here's something about me. Like, I appreciate all types of music. I've seen rap shows, I've seen country shows. I don't love music like other people do. And I know it's such a weird thing for somebody to say, but I don't love music the way other people do. It's neutral to me. I appreciate it all straightforward or across the board. You know, some things I find more interesting than others, like hello me, it's me again. That's to me, that's metal music, like Megadeth and shit. That's something that stuck out. But to be able to go to a show, like, it was cool. It was exactly what you would expect to see. You know, it was a big mosh pit. It's a lot of like testosterone and shit, but it was cool, man. It was the people were nice. The music was cool. I could see why people like going to those shows, but like a lot of great things, I think a metal show is an atmosphere that people specifically like, and so that was a neat thing. I like a place with a good atmosphere.
Yeah, and we went to As I Lay Dying and After the Burial, which is like metal. It's like that's some fucking serious metal. And I think a popular misconception of metalheads and metal shows is that people are evil and they're out to like fucking just punch people, but we're like the biggest, softest fucking teddy bears in the world, man. I mean, like, when you're in a mosh pit and you fall down, we're the people that pick you up. I mean, we're not gonna like step on you and like try to hurt you. It's like, the fucking the pit comes to a stop and we pick you up. And I think that's always fun to see people who like James, who's like a blank slate, or I brought a bunch of other friends who've never kind of been in that world, and like they're always blown away by like how nice we are. And
so here's what I would associate it to is metal show is the closest that I've come to the drum circles in Venice Beach, California. And the reason I say that is metal shows are the Venice Beach drum circles were so like tribal. Like, because what they would do is over the weekends on Saturdays and Sundays, as the sun goes down, people just bring out their bongos and shit, and we just boom, 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 boom. But what it does is it creates this kind of like rhythm, like it catches a heartbeat, much like metal music does. If you really listen to it, it's just a tempo, and it gets everybody in that crowd working around that tempo. So you create this tribal singularity of movement type thing. And so watching that concert where like a wave of people was moving in the metal show, that was the closest association I could see to it. It was just that super deep tribalness that I saw at the drum circles, quite honestly.
One thing I love about metal shows, what you kind of hit on there, James, is like when they fucking start hitting that double bass in the fucking jump, it's like the bass is so hard, like you feel that in your fucking body, like the whole fucking place vibrates. You're like, oh my god, and that's what like ramps you up. And that's what gets you going.
Right.
Yeah, and everybody, like you said, it's a wave.
Flow.
Yeah. As soon as the music starts, man, you see the whole fucking crowd just like it's like breathing and moving, and then sometimes the pits break out, but for the most time, you look like schools of fish, like it just like it waves around.
And that shit doesn't happen that doesn't happen at rap concerts that I've been to. That doesn't happen at country concerts that I've been to. It's something about it's the deep. Listen, I've been married to music people for enough time, and my children are some musicals. It's the deep percussion, man. It's the deep percussion that usually is such a huge part of metal music that really gets people, and the repeated rhythms. You know what I mean? Like it's the only other place I've ever seen that. I've been to a lot of different varieties of like half-ass concerts. There in the drum circle, that's literally the 2 times I've seen just people kind of roll into that fluid motion.
I love that. So, James, thank you for coming on. So you have the option, because this is your company. You can stay on and finish chatting with us. We'd love to have you on, or you can plug your wares and then you can go. And
I have some things I got to do, and I know we have meetings later tonight, so I will plug my wares. Guys, we have Mountain Shore Media coming up. It's going to be a whole page. It's going to be a whole different shop than Mountain Shore. You will be able to find it off the Mountain Shore Facebook page, or Mountain Shore Media on eBay. If you fucking like old VHS tapes that are still wrapped in plastic for some reason, like Rick Steeds. I have a thing on, but Rick Steeds, Travel the World. Ooh.
I will, if you have any Dorf Golf, I will eat that shit up.
I don't have Dorf Golf.
No Dorf Golf. I can't. Well, I'm sorry, man. You don't have a no sale.
There you go. But yeah, so Mountain Shore and eBay, Mountain Shore Media is coming up in the next week or so, and then James's game is next Friday, and it's gonna be cool, right? Am I making the right date up to 26?
Yes, you
right?
are correct. Next week is James's games, and Amanda Hawkins is coming back to
Amanda's
play. Hopefully, Santore will be there. Santore's there to defend his title.
You know,
I'm not even going to bring up a bunch of different people. Who knows what I'm going to do? I have no plan. So
here we go again.
We'll find out when James finds out.
Yeah, we'll all experience it together. So you guys, I will see you guys a little bit later. Enjoy the rest of your show, and thanks for having me on.
Thanks, James.
See you, man.
So, metal shows are crazy as fuck. They are a completely different world. I've seen some massive mosh pits. I've seen all sorts of crazy shit. Like I said, Marilyn Manson, slitting himself. I mean, some crazy shit. So I'm gonna have you go first, man. Tell me just a crazy fucking concert story.
Well, for me, it was Lollapalooza 2 in 1992. Ministry was there. Red Hot Chili Peppers headlined it, and
I saw that show too. See, we are brothers from another
right.
world, man.
That was great. And I was at a place called Pine Knob, and it was like an outdoor arena, and they had like a big, huge hill, and then they had like a big, like long sidewalk, and then they had a pavilion. Well, when Ministry was on stage, some great fans decided to go ahead and rip the sod of the ground and just start, having a sod fight, and you look behind you, and you see all this like dirt flying in the air. And then it came like down to us, like in a pavilion that was actually, it hit like some Ministry's like equipment that Al Jurgensen had to stop the show and say, and call them all out and said, stop throwing this shit. We'll get off the stage. We got expensive equipment up here. And I was just like, but yeah, I remember that. And there's a couple, things of like memories of you just having, of a memory of being there, being at a concert. I mean, like it's been like a year since, like almost 2 years since I've been to a concert. And it's just like, what the hell? But yeah. And then of course, the last concert I saw before everything was, I saw Pete Townsend and Roger Daughtry, also known as the Who. So that was my last show. And I'm hoping that it won't be my last show. It was. And that, I always said that to like everyone, I always take it as, if I were going to be dead tomorrow, what was the last show you saw? So saying, hey, I went and saw the Who if I were to die tomorrow, it's all right to say. I would say that better than saying, I went and saw, I don't know. What? Jonas Brothers or something.
My last show would be that SLA Dang show with James. So, again, a memorable show, a memorable experience. So, when I think about the metal shows I've been to, I think of two things. One, the injuries. I was very much a presence in the mosh pit. And then the older I got, like the further out from the mosh pit I get to, like basically right now, I'm like the old guy on the side of the pit, like, oh, they fall into me. I'm like, here you go, buddy. You're okay. And I push him back in. That's kind of where I am these days. Like, right. I used to be like heavy in the mosh pit, but I remember fucking Lamb of God show with Children of Bodom. My wife and I, we went with a couple of her friends, some of our friends, and we were trying to get up front close because Children of Bodom was playing, and this dude who is married to my wife's best friend, he gets poinked on the head. But instead, I don't know, like Darius, who's just like, or DW, who's just like Al, like, no, man, I like look in this guy's eyes as he gets plinked on his head, and I just see the lights snap out in his fucking head, and I see him start to drop. So I catch him, and I'm like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do with this fucking guy? He is knocked out cold. So I start dragging him, and the only thing I could do to get to the side was to go through the mosh pit. So I literally fucking dragged this guy through the mosh pit. He's unconscious. I'm dragging him, and people are like fucking, hitting you. This is a mosh pit. So like they're like, oh, this dude just like trying to walk through the mosh pit. Let's hit him. So I'm like, I'm trying to carry this guy. Finally, I get him to the side of the stage, and he's starting to come to. But that was quite a harrowing experience. I tore a shoulder muscle. My cousin Ben, who's never been to a heavy metal concert either, I took him to this festival called Sounds of the Underground. And one thing I love about these metal festivals, like in metal, it's hard to like find new bands because they don't play your shit anywhere. You have to actively search for new bands to listen to. And so I like metal festivals because they always have new bands. And my cousin Ben was with us, and he was about to get sucked into this Lamb of God pit, but I reached in and I pulled him out, and just then I got fucking hit in the back for my shoulder, and I tore my fucking shoulder. I couldn't move that shit for weeks, brother.
That's crazy.
So when I think of metal shows, I always think of the injuries. But two, what really makes a great show for me, like there are great shows. Like you go to see 9 Inch Nails, and it's fucking great every single time. What makes one of those concerts go from really good to great is the opening acts.
Yeah.
I mean, an opening act can really set the show to a whole new territory.
Absolutely.
Some of the best opening acts that I've seen, A Perfect Circle for 9 Inch Nails, of course, but one of my favorite bands of all time, and I kid you not, this is probably one of my top 5 favorite bands, is this band called Devachka.
Never heard of them.
I know you have it. They're a local Colorado band.
Okay.
And they play like this. It's like Eastern European folk music and rock music. I mean, like it completely. You have no idea what it sounds like. So you have to go and find it. It's called Devachka.
Devachka.
They opened for fucking Marilyn Manson. All right. So Marilyn Manson, Devachka, 2 completely different bands. And so like Devachka, they get up there and they start playing. They have like stand-up bass. A dude's playing a violin. Another guy has like a tuba. I swear, I shit you not. And like people are like booing him and shit. And then like 2 songs in, they got the crowd. They won the crowd. And by the time this is done, like this fucking Marilyn Manson crowd was just going ballistic for this fucking band, Devachka. And you will know Devachka because if you've ever seen the movie Little Miss Sunshine, Devachka is the music that they play throughout the entire movie.
Really?
So, yep. Some other great opening acts, man, is Dresden Dolls opened for 9 Inch Nails. They were fucking fantastic. This guy named Snoop Dogg opened for Dave Matthews Band. That was pretty cool. He was a good opening act. I kid you not, Santore. So Mike Potter, who is one of my buddies and who's married to Christy of the Potter Girls podcast, he took me to a Dave Matthews Band show, and Snoop Dogg was opening for him.
That's funny.
If you go to a Dave Matthews Band concert, like it's all, how many shows have you been to? Oh, I've been to like 35. How many shows? Oh, I've been to like 42. And right. I guarantee you, dude, I am the only person in that fucking stadium that has been to Snoop Dogg more than I had seen Dave Matthews Band. I've seen him a couple times. Right. He never disappoints. He's a great showman. All right. So I told you to think about your top 5 favorite concerts. I want you to rank them. Top 5. Go.
All right. Number 1 being like the best I've ever been to is Monsters of Rock 1988 because of my first show. Second would be Lollapalooza 92. And then after that would be Van Halen 2000, whatever year that was, 15, I think it was, can't remember. But it was 2015, 14. And then Pantera, seeing Pantera, the show with White Zombie open up for Pantera and Megadeth. And then number 5 would be seeing Black Sabbath with Ozzy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So my top 5. Number 5, Nine Inch Nails and Soundgarden.
Nice.
That's the one and only time I've seen Chris Cornell, and that dude was crazy fucking talented. And I was never a huge Soundgarden fan, but just seeing him live was amazing. So I'm very lucky to have seen it, and I have a great story behind it. So Courtney, who comes on the show, she's from Lova. She's one of our reigning champions of James's games.
Courtney
her and her friend Claire actually bought me a ticket to go see Nine Inch Nails. Like at that time, man, I was like in some serious financial issues. So, and they knew that, and they knew that I fucking wanted to see Nine Inch Nails, and they were really kind, and they got me a ticket. And when I went up there, the show was just unbelievable. So I will forever be grateful to Courtney and Claire for taking me to that show. But just to be able to see Chris Cornell, I think that propelled it to top 5. Number 4 is one of my favorite bands. It's like one of those bands that like you have got to like listen to them, because then once you listen to them, you'll understand. But it's a band called Churches, but there's a V instead of a U. I love 80s like new wave kind of sound, and they're a modern new wave band, and they're just an incredible band. And then I saw them, and they fucking tore it up. I mean, great band. So Churches with a V. Lamb of God and In Flames.
Nice.
That was a great show. I brought a bunch of my friends, like Courtney. Again, she came with me, as well as a couple of my other employees. I was a terrible boss back then. I was a very bad influence on my crew when I was at Noodles and Company. I was like, let's go to this metal show together. Well, one of our friends was crowd surfing for the first time and got dropped on the pole right at the front. Fucking dude got dropped on the pole, hitting right in the back. And the lead singer of In Flames like stopped. He's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Okay." So yeah, one of my employees fucking got dropped on the pole and then stopped the show to make sure he was okay. So that was a fun one. Nine Inch Nails, A Perfect Circle. Perfect Circle is just an incredible band, and then Nine Inch Nails is just always incredible. And then number 1, Nine Inch Nails and David Bowie. My dad got me those. My mom and dad, and my dad took me there, and my friend Joel was with me. And we were there for Nine Inch Nails, and we stayed for David Bowie. And I'm so fucking glad that we did, because David Bowie, it's David Bowie, man. Like,
that's awesome. You actually got to see that. That's awesome.
So I'm pretty blessed to see that. I'm pretty blessed to see I've seen so many great artists. I've seen Billy Joel, George Michael, the Monkees, Weird Al. I've seen Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, fucking Dimebag Darrell. One of my favorite bands right now is a band called Born of Osiris, and they have this guitarist named Lee McKinney. And this dude's he's a virtuoso on a guitar. Yeah. They're so rare to have like a virtuoso playing a metal guitar. So I get to see so many great fucking musicians, man. So I'm pretty lucky to have seen all these. How about you?
Yeah. No, man, me too. I've seen a lot. Like you mentioned the Monkees. I've seen the Monkees probably the same year you went and saw them. Or like late 90s, something like the mid 90s. But yeah, no, I've seen a lot of great bands, a lot of great people. I'm very fortunate and grateful to see them. And I would like to see them again, see some more in the future. I need to go to a concert. I mean, especially summertime's coming, and it's just weird not being able to go to a concert. I'll keep going to concerts until my body says I can't. I mean,
I'm right there with you.
Unless they don't come back again, but whatever. I'm just saying, I love concerts. I love, love outdoor atmosphere stuff and good times and having a good time with good people and good music.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that you and I share. We love music, and we love to see music. And my cousin Amanda, who was on last week and will be on next week. I mean, she's a great fucking performer. So like just going to see her play, just live music and seeing her play is great. I can't wait for the fucking concert venues to show up, man. Like to open up, just to go to a show, a metal show again. if you're talking about like COVID, man, a metal show is definitely not the concert that you want to have during COVID times, but it's so fucking great.
Nope.
There'd
be no moshing.
Yeah, I just want to hear. Yeah, right. Anytime there's always those signs. I used to always steal those signs that said like no stage diving, and they always used to post that up at the Fillmore. So I used to just like steal them. So I used to have a stack of all these no stage diving things. I always stole shit. Like it sounds really bad. But it was like I stole a poster. I stole a sign that says. So I'm not like some arch criminal or something like that. But there's some fun things. And metal shows like one of the funnest things to do is like to wait for the show to be over to try to catch a drumstick or a pick. I have drumsticks and picks from great shows that I've seen.
Leftover stuff on the floor.
Yeah.
Found some shoes.
Shoes. Oh, you always find shoes. There's always probably 10 shoes and a bunch of glasses. There's some eyeglasses and shoes. And if you're lucky, you'll find a couple bucks that like fell on.
All right.
But, yeah, if you play your cards right, man, you can probably make out with like $10 worth of like collectibles, and you can like trade them for burritos. We used to always have burritos. Like these old like Hispanic folks would like sit out in front of the concert venues and sell fucking burritos, and there is nothing better. At like 12 o'clock at night, you're fucking sweaty from the pit, and you're like, I'm gonna crush this fucking burrito right now. And they're like $2, man. You're like, give me like 8 burritos. That's great.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah,
no, we didn't have that.
It's too bad. Well, that just means you got to come to a show up here, bro.
I would. No, I'd love to see a show at Red Rocks, dude. I love to see a show at Red Rocks.
Yeah. Well, next time, as soon as Red Rocks is opening up this summer, I mean, like, there's going to be a bunch of shows. So, next time you come down here, man, we'll go fucking see a show up there. Last story about Red Rocks. So, one of my favorite shows of all time was Dan Fogelberg. I have to say the story because my mom like tells the story all the time. So this is my Red Rock story. I was like young. Yeah, longer than there been fishes in the ocean. So for some reason we got like front row tickets, and like I got to go up on stage and hang out with Dan Fogelberg.
Really?
I mean, yeah, that was.
Did you sing longer with him?
I don't remember, man. I was young, bro.
That'd been cool.
That was cool. Yeah, Dan Fogelberg is good. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
that was my Red Rock. I have a bunch of Red Rock stories, but that was the one that I know my mom would appreciate because I know she's watching the show tonight. So that's about it. Anything else you want to add about concerts? Anything? Any shout outs?
I just wish they would come back eventually, and I'm patiently waiting. But and Wednesday nights tune into Now What with Santore and Dr.
What
Detroit.
now or now what?
What now? Now what? What now? See either way. Either or.
What now? You should just like name it What Now What? Because that way you get both.
What now?
What now what?
Now what? I just go with, and of course number one Dick. Yeah, Wednesday nights. And thank you for having me on tonight. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it. It was a nice intimate show tonight.
Yes.
But we still
everyone be good to each other.
Yeah, hold on. We're not leaving yet, man.
We're not leaving yet? Oh,
no, man, I have shit I need to plug, Santore. Come on.
Oh, okay.
I know you're anxious to get out of here.
No, I'm not anxious to get out. I just thought you were ending. My bad. Let's still be good to each other.
Yeah. Still, be good to each other now, and then be good to each other in about 5 more minutes when we're done. So, just be good to each other for like the next 5 minutes, okay? So next Friday on March 26th at 8 p.m., we have the next James's Games. Hopefully, I will win one. I will win one eventually because the odds just say that I'm smart enough one time to be able to win, but I haven't been doing so great lately. But we have a James's Games. We have Santore, Mel, and our special guest is Amanda Hawkins. And then, as you see behind me, Caldera. I am trying to sell the fuck out of this book because it is a good fucking book. And not just because I wrote it, but because it's legitimately a good fucking book. So you can go to Amazon.com and purchase Caldera. You can go to BarnesandNoble.com and get the ebook. I have the Race to Space audiobook about to drop, which is pretty cool. I'm listening to all the chapters for the Caldera audiobook, so that's fucking cool. So go and get Caldera on Amazon.com. Oh yeah, so for everything, James is in charge of our website. So, everything from Santore, What Now What, to all our Truckee Pacific shows, except for Christy. She'll get on eventually. James will find time to upload her onto the website. But you can go to www.truckeepacific.com. Any questions, concerns, comments, if you want to sponsor a show, we also initiate refund requests. You can go to the milehighpodcast@gmail.com. And then ultimately, we want you to make your money our money. I know Santore is uncomfortable with this part, so you can tune out for a second. This is where I'm asking you for money. So please make your money our money. Use that sweet, sweet Biden stimmy money and drop a couple bucks our way. I mean, if you throw down like $10, then you're like a show sponsor. If you throw down $50, you can be on the show. So, go to Venmo at Truckee Pacific 303. We got a shout out to our season sponsors, Paul and Betsy Hawkins, and we have our episode sponsors, Bonnie Murphy. That's pretty much all I have tonight. So, Santore, fucking thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I love talking music with you. I love talking metal. You're just a good fucking dude. Fucking Slayer, man. Chelsea Grin, fucking Slayer. All right, bro. You guys have a good night. And Santore, take us away.
Be good to each other. Have a good night.
Be good to each other.
Be good to each other.
This has been a Truckee Pacific production. For sponsorship inquiries and comments, go to the Mile High Podcast at gmail.com.